How did you party? You said you wanted everyone to celebrate and party the series. What did I say party? How did you celebrate the series win?
Oh, well, in the locker room we celebrated together. And then I think just have an opportunity to get done early with the weekend and go celebrate with my family as well. But for us, we celebrated, and I think it's important. We talk a lot about celebrating the little things, celebrating the big things. And so we definitely got after it in the locker room, so it was a lot of fun.
What does that celebration in the locker room look like?
Gosh, a lot of laughing, I got to see a lot of dance moves, and I got to see a little water fly around, so it was good.
Do you partake in the dancing?
You know what? Whatever they want me to do, I'm all theirs. So.
Awesome. Morgan talked a little bit last week about how she was able to look at some of the tape and then adjust some of her stuff. How much of your guys' work before a series is looking at your own tape, and how much is it looking at the other team's tape?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, and it just depends on what it is that you need. So with Morgan, we got to look a little bit more on her, and then, touch on the opponent. And sometimes it could be the opposite, where it's more opponent and less them. It's just depending on what it is everybody's needing, what we're trying to get out of it. So.
Where do you feel like you guys are at in that process this week going up against Utah?
Good. Preparing for the opponent. Both. We prepare for the opponent, and then we also get to look at our swings, get to look at our pitches, get to look at our defense and see, if there's any adjustments that we need to make as well.
Speaking of adjustments, how much of an adjustment do you make? Because it's at elevation, so the ball is going to act a lot differently there than it does at a lot of other places. Do you guys take that into account when you're making pitch calls or swinging?
Yes, we do. Yes and no. I mean, it's just like your pitchers, your staff is your staff. So it's just understanding, maybe they're just different strategy, a little bit different being there versus being here. Their field's pretty deep as well. So I think every weekend you go into it with certain strategy for the opponent.
Elise talked a bit about how you guys have used tunneling to help our pitches be better. Is that something that you've worked on with the whole staff?
Mm-hmm. Yep, just to see if their pitches, do they hide, what pitches hide around other pitches, what pitches might pop, and then to be able to make those adjustments.
Have there been any players this season that have exceeded your expectations up until this point of the season?
Gosh, that's a good question. I've really enjoyed all of them. One thing I would say is Alyssa Daniel, just being at first, I think she's been unbelievable over there defensively. That's probably somebody who I would say. Not that I don't think she can't play, good defense at first, but I just think she's done really well. I think she's handled all types of balls over there.
What are you looking for going into this weekend? Expectations? They're a fast, aggressive team. They presented some opportunities that you guys missed on last year at the close of the season. So how do you fill those holes going into this series?
I think just the same type of fight and competitors that we got to see this past weekend, taking it to Utah. Understanding that they have got a lot of speed and they've got some hitters that can drive them in. They've got, Mariah Lopez is a great pitcher for them. Their other pitchers pitch well as well, but just she was their main one from last year. So just understanding what makes them good and what we need to do to give ourselves opportunity to beat them.
Does Lopez compare to any pitcher that you guys have faced so far?
Gosh, I mean, we have faced a lot of lefties this year. I just sit and try to go through them all, but I mean, no, she's pretty unique. But we have faced a lot of lefties, so I think it gives us a great opportunity going into the series.
Do you feel more comfortable going up against lefties this season because of how much you've faced off against lefties in the early non-conference?
Yeah, I mean, we faced a lot of lefties this year. Where last year we had mainly faced right-handed pitchers. So to see the amount of, I feel like just pitching in general, we have seen it all this year. And I know there's so much more, but just we've seen it all. Like if we had to go to postseason right now, just in how we've seen all types of pitching, I would say we're ready. Let's go. We've seen it. So I think that's good going into this weekend.
Anything else?
There was a question on replays. If you could explain or challenges rather than replays, how the challenge process works, the number of them, and if you missed, if you could.
Yeah, I think we get 2. That's all we get. We get 2 regardless if we're right or wrong. Where I think in football and other sports, like if you win the challenge, you get it back. You don't get any challenge back. You just get 2 each game. If you use them, great. If you don't, great. If you win both, it doesn't make a difference. Once you've used both, you're done.
Do umpires get an opportunity to?
Yeah. 6th inning, 6th and 7th inning, the umpires under their discretion can say, we would like to go to the replay booth in the 6th and 7th inning.
Do you have a strategy in how you use your replay reviews?
I don't. I think you just, you're just kind of in the heat of the moment, and you just got to collect the information that you have and then and make a decision.
Is there, I guess, for edification purposes, when you talk to the umpires, are you soliciting feedback from them about how likely the challenge is? Because it's unique in this sport because they're the ones doing their own challenge.
Yeah.
So do they provide that feedback? Or is it just, I guess, when you're talking to the umps, people are kind of curious, like what you guys are talking about?
Oh, you just basically, I would like to go to replay. It's just you to explain what you want to go to replay on, and then they go. And then that situation, they have to look at every little thing regarding that situation. And then they come back and they tell you the result, and you say yes or no. You don't get to follow up with any conversation. They give you the information, and you have to move on. So.